Arsenal had a project. They understood there will be bumps in the road, and people and the media and the noise outside will come. It's whether they stay strong enough and believe in the project enough to stick by that person. Arsenal did. They're sitting top. It tells you have to be patient. You have to believe in the project. And at the moment, I've got to be honest, I'm on the side of believing in the project with Ten Hag, because yes, it's a bad result. Yes, it's a bump in the road, but it shouldn't destabilise the whole project.
You think Gerard Pique is a world-class defender?
Yes.
I think he's a good, great defender. But world-class in my eyes is, again, Rio, Maldini, Nesta. There's defenders who haven't won half as much as he won, but at lesser teams, and he's a lot better than Pique.
They can never do it like I. When you see man pull up and slide, man stepped in a room with legends, Rio and Steve, you know it's a vibe. Check the podcast, what you wanna know? Don't ask me, go and ask Joe. If you're talking Premier League, he's on the front line and I gotta go. It's a vibe with five, and you already know what it is. It's a vibe with five, and you already know what it is. Vibe with five, and you already know what it is. It's a vibe with five, and you already know this.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with this week's episode of Vibe with Five. You might as well call me Big Smoke, because I'm dishing out all the smoke right now, mate. Someone call Skepta. Listen, before we start here, I have to wish someone special a big happy birthday.
Yeah, my Uncle Ian.
Mr. Rio Ferdinand, happy 60th birthday, my guy. Listen, we've got all the bottles here. You know what I mean? One for United losing, one for us beating Chelsea, and of course, your birthday, boy. I'm going to be coming over to your house and, we can go through the bottles. But listen, what are you doing? What's the plans today?
Chill. I went gym this morning, got given some lovely presents by the family. Yeah. Beautiful last little gifts from here and there. And then went for a bit of breakfast.
Why'd you say I went to the gym like you didn't just walk to the other part of your house?
Okay. I fell into the gym out of bed. I'm lucky I've got a gym in my house. What can I say?
Hey, man. So how's it feel like to be 60, man?
Well, it's all right, man. Yeah. 60 looking 25.
Big Smoke.
Right. You know what? What's it called? I feel good, man. Listen, I feel good. I know there's 44-year-olds out there. I look at some 44-year-olds and I'm thinking, rah, your paper round was hard compared to mine.
They look tired. But you know what else, Rio? Yeah, your documentary trailer came out today, didn't it? For Tipping Point. And obviously the actual documentary is a 3-part series and it's coming out on November the 11th, which is on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us. What's it about, just in case people don't know?
It's all 3 episodes are about football, about racism in football, about sexuality in football, and mental health in football. All 3 episodes. So different episodes, but listen, it's really good. It took us almost 3 years to film. We started it just before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit and it made it very difficult. But there's some great topics. There's some great people that come on there. Shout out Wilfried Zaha, Romelu Lukaku, Akin Fenra, and many more that come on there and talk really eloquently and really well. And so I'm going to leave a couple of names out, surprises for you to get into. So it's listen, it's worth a watch. All things football.
I'm all over that Zaha one, man. I'm not going to spoil it, but I saw that and I thought, ooh, that's some serious topics right there.
From the bits I've seen and the things I've heard, I haven't seen the sexuality one yet, but what you've told me about the sexuality one.
Yeah, it's deep.
Listen, we got to get into it though, innit? Let's not act like it didn't happen.
Wait. We're always talking about football, like
no. Don't try to widen your perspective of other topics in life, mate.
How are you doing, Joe? Are you all right? Like, how's the family? How's the kids?
I got a question. I got a real good question. Like, when it was one of the lads' birthdays in the changing room, did you do anything special, or did you just crack on?
Let's top this up. We're gonna have a good time.
No.
We did
people's birthdays.
Man United won.
Unless it was a weekend, we'd like organise after the game a night out, have a table in a club somewhere or whatever. But like in the week, you might get a birthday. You used to get Carol and the girls and the chef Mike in the canteen. You get a little birthday cake with your name and that on it, which would be nice. And everyone have a bit of cake. The gaffer used to love a bit of cake and custard or cake and ice cream, and that's what had happened. But nothing major, to be fair.
All right, well, wrap it up there. I think that's the end of the show. A good show.
Great show, guys.
No.
See you next Monday, yeah?
I forgot my cigar, so we're going to be using this pen today. Aston Villa 3, Man United 1. You guys got taken to the dry cleaners, man. What's going on? Like, Jacob Ramsey showing you guys what's going on the pitch. I thought United were back. Rio, talk to me.
Steven Gerrard must be pulling his hair out. What I've seen since he's gone, obviously they've got beat one of the games, but two of the games have been like looking like world beaters. So it was in there.
I wonder what the correlation was.
Yeah.
Oh, here he goes. Well, listen, I'll be honest here. I was surprised yesterday. I was really surprised. I've been walking around a bit more of a spring in my step of late about Man United. People ask me about Man United, and I'm turning around going, yeah, man, we're on our way. We're coming back bit by bit. But that was just a little punch in the ribs. You know what I mean? Yesterday, like, actually, well, we ain't where we need to be yet. We still got a way to go. And yesterday, we just looked off it. And I think the manager summed it up quite well afterwards in the press conference. Just said, yeah. And you get punished if you ain't on it. You're a % or two off in this league. This is why this is the best league in the world. Because if you approach a game and you ain't quite at the races, you will get hurt. Whether the team's full of confidence or not, the teams here is just the way the Premier League is, and that's what's great about it. And to be fair, Villa, they played well. I think Brave as well. They played two up front. Old school said, right, can your two centre halves deal with our two centre forwards? And the third goal kind of epitomised it. It was like, get the ball up there, put them under a bit of pressure, and it was an unbelievable finish from Jacob Ramsey.
Steve, did you know that United were in the, I don't want to swear here, but they were in trouble when you saw it was 2-0 down in 11 minutes? Did you think, you know what, we could turn this round, or did you think it's over?
The one thing, I mean, you should know this, the one thing that you get with an Emery team is they're going to be hard to break down. And if he gets a 1-goal lead, you're in trouble. If he gets a 2-goal lead, that's a long, long day. And he's going to need some people to have some clangers for you to get back in the mix. By the end of the game, there was a back five, 4 across the middle, 1 up top. And it was like, go on then, sort that out. So you've always got to give credit to Emery for that. I just thought the two teams looked in totally different energies. Like you guys struggled midweek in Europe, looked leggy. And you turned it around this weekend against a poor Chelsea side, so well done. But United have had you think about what happened with United. We pushed and we gambled to try and beat Sociedad by that second goal midweek. And probably the adrenaline dump of that and the energy that we expended doing that, coming into play a Villa team that's just unshackled themselves from the shit manager that they had previously, brought in a guy that knows what's going on. The energy levels them players must have had thinking, finally, a guy that knows what a football team's supposed to be doing. They would have been fired up for it. He's got into Mings' head and been like, you're going to go head-to-head with Cristiano Ronaldo this weekend and you're going to smash him. Like, the whole energy of Aston Villa, and the crowd was up for it as well. It was well noisy. I think all of those factors, they just ran us over. And this happens. I mean, it happened plenty of times to Arteta in his first season, as you'll remember being on the documentary saying that the guy's got to go. But, like, early doors in any, I mean, even Pep had this a few times in his first season. Trying to get your style of play in, especially when it's a high tempo sort of thing. Sometimes you just miss the gear. And United this weekend just missed the gear. And Villa were absolutely deserving of the win. They smashed us.
You know what, as well? Villa Park was a good hunting ground for us. We could go 2-0 down. I remember we went 2-0 down or 3-0 down there once and come back, turn it around. Chicharito. We've done it on many occasions where it's a really... And that was one thing I had in my mind. When I saw 2-0, I thought, you know what? History tells us that we like it playing there.
Different United. Different United. Different United.
Different team, different era, which is fine. But like Steve said, I'd like to touch upon that point. The process, what I'm seeing with this manager and things going in terms of tactics and the way the team are playing, I'm actually feeling okay about it. Yes, we've lost this week, but in terms of the long-term picture, you have to trust the process. And I talked about this on BT the other day about the difference with where they are at the moment, Chelsea and Arsenal. Arsenal had a project. They had an idea of how they wanted things to go. And they understood after finding the right manager, finding the right support team around him, they understood there will be bumps in the road. There's going to be moments where it goes a bit off piece and people in the media and the noise outside will come. It's whether they stay strong enough and believe in the project enough to stick by that person because they believe he's the right man for the job. Arsenal did. They're sitting top. It's a good benchmark as to how you should approach these things. And I think you look at Pep in his first year at City, his only year in his whole managerial career, he never won anything. They stayed patient. Same with Jurgen Klopp. How long did it take him? 3 or 4 years to get to where they was in winning stuff. So it tells you have to be patient. You have to believe in the project. And at the moment, I've got to be honest, I'm on the side of believing in the project with Ten Hag because, yes, it's a bad result. Yes, it's a bump in the road, but it shouldn't destabilise the whole project.
No, I agree with that, if I'm honest with you, but I still want to be calling out players. Like, let's not try, like, paper over the cracks. Donny van de Beek, like, I was actually surprised to see him start. Can anyone explain to me? Like, I'm an outsider, right? Can anyone explain to me what was the purpose of him playing, especially with the fact that you guys have played well? Are you trying to, like, bring up his value before you sell him? What's going on? Because he was lost.
Well, the manager knows him. The manager knows what he has under his bonnet, what he's capable of. He has not got anywhere near doing that while he's been at Manchester United or in England, for that matter. He hasn't. I watched him probably 4 or 5 times, a few times live as well, in the Ajax team. I know it's a while ago now, but I watched him in those games, and he was one of the 3 or 4 players who you thought there's going to be value for this guy because of what he does. You get him in and around the box, this guy can finish. And the problem with the way he's been deployed at Man United, he doesn't have to get in the box. Doesn't get the opportunity to get in there to show his best parts of his game. And he just hasn't been able to find rhythm, momentum, form at all in a Man United shirt. And so the performance that we saw wasn't any different to what we'd seen so far with Man United. No impact.
Do you know who he reminds me
Joel,
of? Sorry,
listen, hindsight's 20/20, isn't it? But look at the circumstances that we find ourselves in, right? We've got Anthony out injured. We've had to deploy Marcus on the right-hand side, where I don't think he's effective. You're playing Garnacho on the left-hand side, who's a couple of starts into his United career. You've got Eriksen and Casemiro, who have created this really nice partnership as a pair of sixes, complementing each other really well. And Bruno, for some reason, there's like a bit of a fashion in United fan base to sort of give Bruno stick because we've been so reliant on him. Almost kind of like to diminish how good he's been and how vital he is to us creating chances and scoring goals. You've got a couple of options to throw in. We haven't got the deepest squad in the world. There isn't another world-class player ready to come in and play in the number 10, which is a vital role to play in. You've got Donny van de Beek, who's got a prior existing relationship, who was successful as a number 10 for Ajax. He's had a little bit of an injury problem this season. Why shouldn't Ten Hag give him a chance? And like I said, hindsight's 20/20. Maybe Fred would have been the better option. But we've seen Fred and McTominay, and fans have been pulling their hair out with Fred and McTominay. Why not give Donny van de Beek a chance? He's trying to play football. He's a kid that plays football. He's a technical footballer.
Because of manager bounce back. Because if I know that I'm playing Unai Emery this weekend and you're playing a Villa team who you've always said, Steve, by the way, is a decent team, right?
Yep.
You can't start trying things that you've never tried before. I don't think so anyway. At least
he has tried it before. I remember we had him for years at Ajax.
Yeah, but
so
bro,
you think
that's back then when Dele Alli was a good
composure.
footballer, mate. Do you know what I mean? That was a while ago. You know,
you want to play with composure. You want to play with the most technically gifted of the three.
But it's the truth. You know what I mean?
Donny's the most technically. Out of Fred McTominay and Donny van de Beek, the one I'm going to trust to pass the most is Donny van de Beek.
The problem with the Donny van de Beek situation is he reminds me of Xhaka. Rio, you said he hasn't had the chance to show himself going forward, right? But he's been played a bit like where Xhaka was playing before. It's not his best position. You want him to go forward, and he hasn't had the chance to do that at United. And I'm sorry, but
I give him the chance this weekend, and he was gash.
I think you've got to give players a chance. I think he's got to work out who he wants to keep in his squad. He's got to find out about these players. So if this week was the week to do it, then so be it. We got beat, but I don't think the result is all down to Donny van de Beek.
I'm not saying it is.
It's just that people are going to get opportunities. There was injuries as well this week, so he's in suspensions. He's going to come into the squad. Got to get an opportunity to do it. But as we all know, this is a cutthroat game. You've got to take your chances with both hands when they come because you're not going to get loads. And unfortunately, this week, he didn't take his chance. Now it's up to the manager when he gets other chances.
We'll see what happens. You guys got Villa again, right? So we'll see what happens.
Should be a totally different 11. We should see Charlie Savage, Zidane Iqbal. We should probably see Donny again, in all honesty. Tony Marshall should get a run out to improve his fitness. Garnacho should probably have another run out. It should be an under 23s team. It should be completely fringe. Give everyone a week off.
I'd love to see that.
We need that 3 points against Fulham.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Guys, just quickly, while we're on air here, the Champions League draw. The Champions League draw has just come out.
See, Liverpool got Madrid.
Massive game. Liverpool
there's some beauties in that.
Real Madrid. Damn. Liverpool have drawn Real Madrid. Wow. PSG versus Bayern. Massive games. I am absolutely buzzing with that. I'm going to be going to. I'll probably go to Dortmund, and I'll probably go to AC Milan for the Spurs game, and I'm going to be going to Real Madrid for the Liverpool game to see them get smashed out. City have got Leipzig. Lucky rats. Pep's lucky, man.
I'm surprised they didn't get Yeovil. That's who they normally get.
Yeah, I thought they'd get I don't know. I thought they'd get one of the little teams.
They're cheeky, innit, United? They're cheeky, innit? Talking about Liverpool getting beat. Bruv, you lot need to focus.
What?
You don't need to focus in Europa. You're not even the best team in Europa.
Who said we was? Who said we was?
Who
cares about? Listen, we care about getting into the Champions League. Simple as that.
That.
You boys ain't been there for a decade, so just
don't
relax.
matter, because we're going to get in there this year, and you know it. You know it. That music's going to be sounding different next year, baby.
You've never heard that music in your 20s.
No,
You've never heard that music in your 20s.
What's that song?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, man. You guys need
music in your 20s.
Take it easy.
United got Barcelona, Rio.
Thank you, Rio. Go enjoy your day, Rio. What'd you say?
No way. Have they?
Did you get the chance to speak to Cristiano? Obviously, I have to ask you in it because you're our inside info in it. Obviously, he's not going to be happy with that. He's got a good record against Villa normally. He seems very frustrated. I saw a stat about fouls, Steve. I don't know if you can help me with that. It's like he had more fouls than anyone or something on the pitch.
He's had more fouls given against him than shots on target this season.
God damn.
But listen, no one covered himself in glory. No one covered himself in glory in the Man United shirt at the weekend.
Rio.
What?
Come on, man. Like Cristiano Ronaldo has more fouls, 7, than shots on target this season, 6 in the Premier League. I ain't gonna let that slide. This ain't a theme park.
Yeah, it's all right, man. It's just the way it is.
A couple of weeks ago, you spoke about a youth.
He said it's the way
you mentioned that Ten Hag maybe needed to communicate. You were just guessing, obviously. But you mentioned maybe he needed to communicate with Ronaldo a bit. I actually think the treatment that Ten Hag has given Ronaldo has been pretty good. Now you can disagree, that's fine, but I'm gonna tell you why, right? So there was the issue that I had in pre-season, and he didn't kick off, as far as I'm aware. The only time he kicked off was when he left the friendly early, but it wasn't on his own. There was a few of them that left early then. No punishments. But from that point, he's worked his way into the team. He's complained that he's not been getting minutes. He started in back-to-back games. He's even given the captain's armband this weekend. Kicked off about him substituting him, which he done, and now he's not doing. Punished him and brought him back into the team after he refused to come on. I think Ten Hag has almost done everything Cristiano Ronaldo's wanted him to do it.
He does. I think he's done a very good job, Steve. I agree with you. I even think.
What's the point, though? What are you trying to make?
I think the point is that someone's holding up their side of the bargain, but I don't see Ronaldo holding up his side of the bargain anymore.
Yeah, well, time will tell this season, won't it? But you look at the end of the season in terms of goals and what he's given back to the team, we'll be able to say that. Listen, there's peaks and troughs in the season. There's ups and downs for a season in terms of form. Cristiano Ronaldo right now isn't hitting the net like you would normally be accustomed to seeing Cristiano.
It's like 14 games.
Touch looks off. He just looks off. And if I had to put money against this, we got a game against Fulham next week. I think it's pure 50-50 whether he starts in that, if Tony Marshall's fit, to be honest. Is that going to be his last game?
Be a big shout. I don't know. I think time will tell. Time will tell. It's difficult, isn't it? Who knows? Who knows how... The thing is as well, he's probably fighting for fitness right now, not to be giving him any excuses. If he goes to a World Cup and plays, he might come back in better condition than when he's left. You don't know.
Yeah, what I do know is that he's had enough games to get himself fit and be banging goals, and unfortunately, it hasn't happened. Still, the goals.
How many games do you think it takes you to get fit?
Did you ever miss a pre-season?
Rio?
Yeah.
When?
Really?
Can't remember what year it was, but I more of the times around World Cups, you come back later for pre-seasons, and it takes you that bit longer. Regardless of that, I never ever felt fit until about 6 games into a season.
Mm-hmm.
I was always going into games pre-season, always worried about my fitness. The only thing I ever worried about was fitness, being fit enough to get through 90, being fit enough to chase a striker 4 or 5 times a half into the channel, 40, 50 yards, and not blowing and not having to put my hands on my knees or my hands on my hips and thinking, Jesus, if he plays it in there again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there. I don't know if I'm going to have the energy, the sharpness to get there. Am I sharp enough over the first 5 yards? But those things going into a game for the first 5 or 6 games in the season, it was terrifying for me because you think, I don't want to be embarrassed by no one. I don't want my sharpness to be the thing that lets me down. So you work your hardest to get to that. But it takes, no matter how much training you do, you need games.
But he's had 16 games. I'm not saying he's played full games, but he's had 16. He scored 3 goals.
The angle I was going to come at this is, we've seen players, I mean, at United last season, Marcus Rashford missed last season, and it took him till this season to look good again.
Yeah, his brother said that to me. His brother, when I was chatting to him, he said people underestimate, and I'm not backing Ronaldo here, I'm just saying what was told to me. People underestimate not having a pre-season. I'm not gonna lie, I said, come on now. I don't take a whole
Well, that's
season.
it. I don't think we can understand. That's why I wanted to ask Rio. If
No, it's a fact, yeah, a guaranteed fact. If you go through the history and look at players that have missed pre-season, they very rarely hit the heights what you're used to seeing with those players, because getting that training in the bank, just bear in mind, right? So you miss a pre-season and then you start the season and you're playing a game every 3-4 days. So you don't train in between. You're recovering and then getting ready for preparing for games. So in terms of conditioning yourself during the season, it's almost non-existent. Players now, if you miss that pre-season, you don't have a period to train during the season. The team doesn't train. The team's recovering and preparing game. Recovery, prepare, game. So it's very difficult to be able to play catch up. You never actually catch up, and you see your players lag behind for the rest of the season. Sharpness, etc. It's very difficult. It's crazy, and you think, but you can do your bits in between, but you train in between, and then all of a sudden you've got a game, and you go into a game with too much load gone through your body, and you're a bit jaded for the game then. So it's the chicken and egg situation. You're playing catch up the whole season. It's very difficult.
So do you start him next game then, Rio? Against Fulham?
It depends how far forward someone close to fitness is Martial is. Is Elanga going to be fit? Is Sancho? Is Anthony going to be? Them guys fit? Then you make a decision. But I think, listen, you're judging players on goals. I think Cristiano Ronaldo would always judge himself on the goals, and he didn't score the weekend, just gone. So that'll have to be taken into account for the next game. And by the way, our front players, I don't think any of them come out playing at the level we expect or beyond at the moment. So he's not alone, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
He's alone.
No,
Have you watched United?
I don't watch teams underneath. I don't know what's going on outside.
Look at this guy.
I don't know what's going on outside the top 4. I'll be real with you.
Wow.
But anyway, let's move it on. I think it's the right time to move it on to Arsenal beating Chelsea 1-0. Rio, you know what? Yeah, I was semi-watching the game the other day. I had a few things going on, and I see you in the group chat. Oh, yeah, Saliba's looking tops today. Oh, yeah, Partey, phenomenal. Oh, Jesus, unplayable. I'm thinking, bruv, are these not the 3 players that I've been telling you about the whole season? Now you want to kind of jump on our bandwagon. Like, what's going on? I've been telling you. Why?
Jesus scored, has he?
Yeah, but no, Steve, don't do that. Don't do that. Because if you saw did you watch the game, Steve? Did you watch the game? Incredible performance by Jesus. Anyone who knows a bit of football and saw that game, they'll tell you, unbelievable. Top player. I'm so proud of my team, man. We actually look like we're challenging for the title. Listen, I've said it.
What?
We're in.
Is he just
We're
got?
in
Is he
there now.
actually put it out there? That's it. It's over now, isn't it?
That's it.
Sorry,
Put it
at
out
the
there.
end of November
Have
yet.
you said you're in a title charge?
I was being coy about it when you was giving me the October's gonna be the month, bro. Even November's looking easy. When you look at our performance today, from start to finish, we were in full control, and that's what I enjoyed the most. I don't remember going to Stamford Bridge and doing that for many, many years. And like I said to you last week, Thomas Partey is our most important player. I'm telling you.
Just saying, no, I don't agree. Your most important player is Jesus or Saliba.
Oh,
because if them players come out of the team, if those players come out of the team, the drop off from that level is massive compared to. You could play Xhaka in his Partey's position and get through a couple of games, not a problem. But you ain't going to get the same output from someone who comes in after Jesus or Saliba.
According to C, because he don't score, it doesn't matter.
Holding coming in.
According to Steve, because he don't score, it doesn't matter. School him, please,
It
Rio.
doesn't matter.
No.
I'll just say you're getting gassed up with him.
Sorry, Steve. What I would say is, I agree. It was the control, mainly without the ball. The way they controlled Chelsea yesterday was like next level, unreal. Shows you the coaching that's gone in, the hard work from the manager, and the ability for the players to take it on. But just to kind of put you back on the reins and just hold you up a little bit, Joel. Chelsea, that was a patched out Chelsea team. They're missing Reece James. They're missing Chilwell. They're missing Koulibaly. They're missing. They're missing Fofana. They're missing Kante.
Don't care. Did we not beat them with a full squad last season?
Wait. Relax. Put your knickers up and relax.
Jeez.
I'm saying there's 6 players that more or less start in that team that didn't play yesterday. So as much as I'm with you, I was so impressed by the way you played. But let's have a little reality check.
Rio.
6 players, actually, and the goalkeeper. 7 players.
Would you
normally start?
I know Mendy ain't. He played. Come on, stop it, Rio.
I'm just saying.
Last year, Mendy was nominated for goalkeeper of the year or whatever. Rio, you sound like everybody else. Everybody else hating on Arsenal right now.
No. I'm just giving you your flowers. I've said how impressed I was.
Because if this was Man United and you played against them and you did the same thing, you would have said, "Don't matter. I want full props. I'm not taking none of this 50% bullshit."
Listen, you lot were. Can you let me speak for 1 second, right? I just said you lot were very impressive. Can't take that away from you. You lot are serious team now. But what I'm saying is, when you look at the opposition you played, it wasn't even their first team.
It wasn't that bad, though.
Still impressed, but it weren't their first team. Just
Mendy, Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Chalobah, Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho, who fair enough, he hasn't played as much, Mount, Cucurella, Havertz, Aubameyang, Sterling. Come on, man.
Joe,
I just said to you, 6 of them
I think Chelsea
don't play when everyone's fit.
Chelsea are going to need investigating because they played Thiago Silva in a back 4. So you knew they threw that game.
You need to allow it, Steve, man. You see,
Kepa, listen, let me just tell you something. 1 minute. Kepa is the number 1 goalkeeper now. Yes, he is. Reece James, Ben Chilwell, Koulibaly, Fofana. That's 6 and Kante. 7 players, they all start. Am I lying or not? Do they all start or not? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
It depends. It really depends. It depends. Because
it depends on what?
Listen, first of all, Chilwell's not always fit anyway, so he's hardly been playing since Cucurella's been there. No, it's true though. He doesn't always play.
You don't watch Chelsea.
All I know is I watched them on Sunday and they got smacked up, bro. They got
second
smoked.
Team.
What'd you say?
Their B team.
You can't completely say that's their second team though, because
7 starters didn't start.
Nah, Rio, you know
the back 4 with Silva. They didn't want to win the game.
Steve, you didn't even watch the game, man. Come on.
I don't need to watch the game to know that you can't play Thiago Silva in a back 4.
Rio,
everyone knows this.
We had a job. We went there and we did what we had to do. Aubameyang doing BT Sport promo. Oh yeah, Arsenal. It's nothing personal.
Yeah, that was funny.
Obama who? As far as I'm concerned, we're actually now in a stage where I can actually call us title contenders. If I'm honest.
Do you still want Arteta out?
No, I don't. Because like I said, Rio,
okay,
I was wrong. You need to allow it because there's loads of things you say on a weekly basis. I don't
care what he does. He needs to go. Yeah. He needs to go.
And I'm watching you very carefully when it comes to these Ronaldo topics as well, mate, because you're a bit iffy when you're responding. Do you know what I mean? I want to know. I want to know what the retainer is every week. I want to know.
Get your own house in order. Get your own house in order. I want my manager out. Now I'm loving him.
Mate, I don't know, man.
You're up and down more than I can't even go.
No, we're top. We're top, bro. We're top. There's no ups and downs.
Listen, I was really impressed. I can't lie. I was really impressed with the way you guys handled Chelsea, their B team. But it was a real good performance. And I think that, listen, going forward, and I'll go through it. Saliba was immense yesterday. He played really, really well yesterday. Stood out. Partey, listen, he made it look easy in that midfield, dominated that midfield. And Jesus, he done everything but put the ball in the back of the net. I just feel he needs to just tweak his performance a little bit to be a goal threat in the box. If he can do that with what he's doing outside, at times he's covering your left back. He's filling in for your left back at times. Like, it's crazy.
This is why Pep would play him in the latter stages of the Champions League when he would drop Aguero, who we all know how good that guy was, and he will play Jesus.
Who do you play in your team at Arsenal now? Who's the best striker in the league at the moment? Haaland, Kane. Would Kane start in your Arsenal team before Jesus?
Yeah, but Kane's like the best, isn't he? So besides Haaland, so yeah, he would.
Okay, just asking.
Yeah, he would. Him. Go on, Steve.
Did Chelsea balls up by getting rid of Tuchel so quick?
Of course. What's the point of sacking him, getting in Potter? And I think to me, it was just this whole Bowley thing wanted his people on the ground.
New owners are the biggest threat to managers, I think.
You got it right there in one, I think, Joe.
Yeah,
New owners, they want their manager. They want their guy in charge.
Yeah. When you spoke to him, Rio, could you see that it was a bit mad for Tuchel before he got sacked?
Yeah, man. He said, I spoke to him immediately after it, and he was like disappointed, obviously, because he absolutely loved it at Chelsea. Loved being in London, loved his life, loved the club. Had a project that he believed in 100%. Recruited all the players in the summer and thought, right, we're going to go along with it. But quite quickly, he realised that things weren't going to be as rosy as he imagined they was to be. And that he maybe wasn't going to get the time that he thought he may have earned, given what he had done since he'd come in the door, winning the Champions League. And then conversations were being had, and then all of a sudden, bang, he's off. And I think that these new owners, they're businessmen. They're not football people. They're business guys. They've got a big media background but big influences around them in that field. And they're trying to merge that with football, but also very data driven, I think. And that's just looking on the outside and just murmurings I'm hearing. And they want the input of data. They want their input and the technical staff behind the scenes to marry up with the manager. They don't want the manager having their own idea of how things go, and the club and people at the club have got a maybe different idea, and maybe that might have been the big difference. They've got a manager now who they've given their ideas to, and who's probably agreed to it and says, yes, that's what I like as well, but also this is how it needs to run from my perspective. And they've merged that together and had a good positive conversation and got to a point of saying, yes, Potter's the man. I believe in Potter as a coach. Forget everything else, in the way he coaches and can make a team play football. You look at his Brighton team, the way that they play, you'd go, listen, this guy is a coach among coaches. In that aspect, you're delighted. It's just the recruitment then, and the controlling and the carrying of big players, and making sure that the recruitment stands alongside the principles of the way he wants to coach. If that marries up and they believe in the project long term, then you've got a good chance.
Yeah, and it's still early days, man. You know, football's so fickle. It's just that at Chelsea, are you going to get that much time? That's the only question.
The new owners, time will let us know. But they again, like the same what we're saying about Man United at Chelsea. They've got to understand there's going to be noise outside, and there's going to be a bit of pain on the journey. Can you stick with it?
Go on, Steve. No, you look like you were going to say something. You were just edging in.
What about City scoring late, man?
Nicola thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah. You know what? Big up Fulham, man. Like, they looked like they were really going to nick a draw there. You know, like Jack was crying after the game. Like,
why is it a penalty for City but not United when Sancho gets chopped? You tell me that.
Thank you. Exactly.
I didn't see it, so
it's a disgrace.
Is it? Yeah. Hey, we've got an interview with Didier Drogba coming up on Vibe with Five, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah. Let people know.
Could be seeing it over the next few weeks.
We
Me
got
and
Alan
Steve-
Shearer coming out this week
Me
as
and
well.
Steve did Alan Shearer as well. So we got some big ones coming out. So you got to make sure you stay on the channel. Quickly, Ria, I want to move it on. Liverpool finding winning ways again, beating Tottenham 2-1. Salah on the score sheet and twice, and obviously Kane as well. Did you watch that game?
Salah, I watched the game. Salah looked a cut above again. He looked back to being the Salah that we've accustomed to seeing. He was sharp. For the first goal, the pass, the touch inside and the run. Nunez linking up well. First half, they looked really good. I mean, Spurs had a couple of chances. I think Perisic hit the crossbar on the post as well.
Yeah.
But Spurs again, just a bit off it until the last 20 minutes or so. They're just like they're not a team firing. There's no cohesion in the team. There's a lot of confidence being dropped. I mean, you looked at the right back Royale. His confidence has been zapped. The fans are on him, and it looks like a tough moment at Spurs right about now. Liverpool again, they could have thrown the game away, but at the end, I think Spurs put them under a bit of pressure. They should have really run that game out comfortably, but they let them back in. But Salah was the standout player. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
We're waiting for Conte to explode. It's coming, innit? You smell it?
Almost exploded. He almost jumped into their bench, didn't you see that when he got yellow carded again? Madman.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming, and it's pure entertainment. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Leeds beating Bournemouth 4-3, last minute winner. Listen, man, I say last minute, but Somerville again. Like, honestly, Leeds they're doing their thing on the low. I thought Jesse was out of here, man, but he's holding on.
Yeah, he is. I think Leeds that result there was a massive result as well, because I think the place would have been turning given the way the game started for him, going behind and whatnot, and then turning it around. The confidence. We keep saying this, but there's got to be a moment in the season that catapults you onto a good run, and you'd like to think maybe for Leeds fans that could be one of them type of results. The game seemed like it'd gone too far away from them, and then all of a sudden, bang, the way they finished that, tremendous.
Yeah. Newcastle 4-1.
Wow,
mate, they're flying. Eddie Howe is doing madness because they got the Saudi takeover. They haven't actually done what City did and what Chelsea did when they got money, and they've not gone mental with signings. They've brought in a couple of decent players, but I think Eddie Howe's getting way more of a tune out of that team than that 11 suggests he should be able to get out of it.
Agree.
He's doing mint.
Yeah. Mate, for what he's done there, mate, he's got to be manager of the year. How he's turned that around. I don't care what happens if anybody or the other clubs, they've got to do some great stuff, like outrageous stuff that's different to what Pep's done before, like win the Champions League maybe. But in terms of manager of the year, at this moment in time, if it was being given out now, Eddie Howe cleans up.
Think how close they were to going down.
They were a relegation-looking team at one point when he went there. He's got them into third in the league, and by the way, comfortably looking like they're a third team. They win the ball back more than any other team. From my last time I looked, they win the ball back in the opponent's final first third more than any other team. So they win the ball closer to the opposition's goal more than any other team, and they're an aggressive team. They're really, really aggressive, and now they're scoring goals as well, and they look confident. So he's got players, Joe Linton, Almiron, especially Murphy. Like, he's got these players that were like players that people were going. The first two actually was more about should they even be there talent-wise, and then Murphy was in and out player that you think he hasn't actually cracked it at this level yet, and all of a sudden they're now looking like players that you go, wow, these guys are meant to be there. They're actually having big impact on games, and they're a real big part of what Newcastle are doing alongside all the other players. It's brilliant to see.
Yeah, man, definitely. Eddie Howe and Arteta are definitely up for manager of the season. Nottingham Forest 2, Brentford 2. Just going to scroll through that one. Sorry, Forest and Brentford fans. It's all good. West Ham losing to Crystal Palace 2-1. Can we talk about Patrick Vieira for a second, please? Because I don't know what's going on here, but
did you see the game?
In my lifetime, I've never seen Palace look so strong in my whole lifetime. Right?
Was you around when Wright and Bright were up front?
No, but I'll say when I was watching football, if I'm honest with you. And I started watching football like 97, 98. So, no. They look good, man. They look really good, Rio. It's true, I'm younger than you, Steve. You're an old man, and Rio's 60.
Did you see some of the football they were playing?
Amazing.
I can't believe he's getting that. Again, like Eddie Howe, Patrick Vieira is getting the same sort of tune with an 11 that he shouldn't be able to play that sort of football with this team.
Yeah. And you know what? With
He had
Gallagher,
500 passes yesterday.
no issue. With Gallagher going back to Chelsea, I thought they were finished, but I don't even think Zaha should look to leave when his contract's done. That's your club right there.
It's a big point that, you know, Zaha, what's he gonna do? He's probably had people tapping him up already. He's probably got a club semi lined up, if not 100% lined up already. If I'm Wilfried Zaha, it comes down to two things. It will come down to money, who's going to pay him the most money, and it will come down to where will his career go to another level. Will he have a chance to win? Maybe out of the top 4 teams, if we call all the big teams in the league, top 4, top 6 teams, is there any of those teams that want him or need him? And he goes and plays, because I know Wilf ain't looking to go nowhere and be a squad player. I don't see Wilf wanting to do that. That's not in Wilf's nature to do unless he changes. But if Wilf goes somewhere and they say you're going to be a squad player, I think he'll say, "Get me on the first bus back to Palace."
So let's do this now then, Rio. Steve, Man City, is he getting in that team? Yes or no, Steve?
No.
Arsenal, is he getting in that team? Yes or no?
It'd be good at Arsenal, I think. It'll be a good. Arsenal? It'll be a good challenge to the two that are there and a good option.
Yeah, but do we want to put all?
You should have bought him when you bought Pepe.
Yeah, I know we should have, but we didn't. Now we're playing Martinelli instead on the left. Listen, would you? Yeah, I would have him, but I wouldn't want him to like forsake Martinelli's growth. If I'm honest with you, so it's like that.
Ruthless, Joel. You just keep signing players, and the cream rises.
Yeah. Chelsea, is he getting in that team? Yes or no?
Well, yeah, of course he is.
Yeah. Okay, that's one right there. Newcastle.
Yeah, all day. If I'm Newcastle, I buy him straight off.
Yeah. Tottenham.
I'd take him, and I'd sell Sir Maximin. Really? Or I'd have them both.
I don't know if he gets in Spurs.
He scores more than Sir Maximin.
He does, but you see with St. Maximin, I don't think he will do well in another team.
I don't know. Keep Sir Maximin, whatever, but I think Wilfried Zaha at Newcastle is a problem, mate.
That's a shout. That's definitely a shout. So yeah, let us know what you think. Steve, I'll let you talk about Everton versus Leicester real quick.
You know, go on.
What's up, Rio?
Go on, you go.
I told you Gerard was getting a bullet. I told you Lampard was getting a bullet. And someone's out the back loading up a shotgun right now. Just polishing it. Just ready.
Do you really think that? Do you think Frank will get sacked?
Well, he should.
They're 1 point above the relegation zone.
Yeah, thank you.
Two points.
If you was to write Everton's 11 and put it on a bit of paper, and Crystal Palace's 11 and put it on a bit of paper, you say which of them teams finishes higher? Everton's. But guess what?
I don't know.
Nah,
City. I mean, Palace have got better strikers, better attacking players.
Come on, man. Rio, you know the truth, man.
No, one's got a better team that you'd think on paper would defend better. The other team's going to score
Who's
more.
Palace's main striker? Their number. Edouard, right?
Yeah.
It's been Zaha lately.
He's not better than
Zaha. Is it Elise? You say Elise?
Yeah. But
Eze. Them three there they walk and stroll and bounce into the Everton squad.
Gordon, Calvert-Lewin, Iwobi.
No. Them boys bounce into that team. All three of them start before any of the attacking players at Everton.
Maybe so, but they shouldn't be performing the way they are, Everton. It's as simple as that.
You don't think they do?
I also don't think the midfield is just better. Or it's not playing better, but it's better.
No, I think Rio's right, you know. Besides Edouard, I think Rio's right.
Oh, no, Idrissa Gueye. Stop it.
Versus who?
Yeah, who is it in Palace's midfield that you're looking at? Schlupp.
Yeah.
No, man. Come on, you're disrespectful.
Am I? All I'm saying is,
you're a problem.
Patrick Vieira.
Eze will play, mate. I'm telling you.
No, he will. Eze will.
Patrick Vieira is getting the tune out of that team.
Their midfield, their centre midfield area is better. Eze plays in that midfield though before any of their players for me in terms of an attacking one of three, and the two wide men at Palace play.
All right. Either way, let's go through the team that he's just beat in West Ham. Souček, Rice, Bowen, Benrahma, Scamacca.
Oh no, I'm not saying he ain't getting a tune out of them. He's getting them to play well above what they're expected to play, maybe. And that's the job of a manager. I get your point. You're saying that Frank should be getting more out of the team that he's got.
Yeah.
I think Frank's biggest hindrance that he's got at the moment is a lack of creativity in goals. McNeil's not scoring or creating. Gordon's gone off the boil a bit, maybe. Iwobi's their most creative player. He's playing midfield. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's injury at the moment is carrying too many injuries. They got Maupay, who never really scored goals for Brighton, in a team that created a lot of chances. He's now gone to a team that doesn't create chances and doesn't look like scoring. So it's difficult, but we'll see. Time will tell about with Frank. I hope he doesn't get the sack.
Listen, Southampton and Bournemouth pick up a couple of points. Oh, he's sitting right in there.
It is super tight down there, by the way.
Can we add, by the way?
Wolves have shocked me how bad they've been.
Yeah, Wolves are bad. They lost to Brighton 3-2. Cool. Let's get that out of the way. Can we quickly talk about Ralph Hasenhüttl getting sacked?
I've expected this for a while. I'm not surprised at all. I've been every other week you're hearing that he's going to be getting the sack, so I'm not really surprised. It's obviously they went on a little recruitment surge last season or in the last window, getting some young players in. He's not going to be able to kind of fulfill and carry out that process.
Yeah, I'm surprised he lasted in the job this long, man, because he's had some bad defeats in the past.
It'd be interesting to see where they go.
Look at the table right now, right? You have to go through that and you say, right, who's getting a bullet next in that? Jurgen Klopp's safe for another week because he's just won his first away game of the season, so he's probably all right.
What about West Ham?
I don't think they can sack him, Moyes.
Nah,
I could be wrong.
Brendan Rodgers has got a bit of form again.
They're up to 14 now.
You got to be patient with David Moyes, man. After what
you say that, though, look at the league table, mate. It's 12 points is a relegation spot up Southampton. Up to 11th, it's only 4 points.
They'll be all right, man.
All of them are looking over their shoulder up to 11th.
Yeah, there's only Palace that have got themselves out of it. Fulham flying in comparison. I mean, Fulham are level on points with Liverpool.
It's crazy.
Steve, just before we go, can you tell us a little bit about your walk, please?
Well, if everything goes to plan, it finishes on Sunday. Been walking 457 kilometers for the fallen lads in Afghanistan. I had to take a week out with being ill, so I've been having to catch up. I've got about 110 kilometers left to go, which is minging. But I'm hoping to finish it on Sunday when it's Remembrance Sunday. So I'll throw a link down below if anyone wants to donate. All the money's going to Royal British Legion. And it's been minging. It's been rough. Doing the 10Ks, that's been actually like...
Did you do 20K yesterday?
Yeah. So 10Ks are a piece of piss. But the 20Ks, that second lap, that's brutal going, that is. So yeah, I've got to do another 20K Wednesday. And then on Sunday, I've got to do a marathon to finish it, 42 kilometers to finish it off on Sunday. So it's tough going.
Yeah, man.
With weight as well.
Well done. You're looking good as well, by the way. Just letting you know, man. You almost
lost about 8 stone. You look unbelievable.
Well done, man. You know what? That's it for this week's Vibe with 5. Like I said, we've got episodes coming out during the course of the week ahead of the World Cup. We've got our England squad that we've got coming out on Tuesday or Wednesday. We've got the Alan Shearer interview. We've got David Ornstein on the channel.
Week.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's been bonfire night and we're talking about the World Cup.
I know, man.
It's crazy.
Listen, man, I'll be right there in Rio's seat in first class, mate. Right there, man. Whether he likes it or not, you know. But yeah, man, happy birthday, Rio. I want you guys in the comments to wish Rio Ferdinand happy birthday. You do amazing stuff in football. You've done amazing stuff. You still continue to push the boundaries. And yeah, man, we've got a top England and Man United legend who's able to talk football with us like fans on a weekly basis. It doesn't get any better than that. Guys, just to end the video, obviously Rio has to go. It's his birthday. But I've got Jermaine Pennant on last minute to explain those Gerard Pique comments about him not being world-class. Look, enough has been said. Take a look at this. We've got here Jermaine Pennant, you know, once the most expensive Arsenal youngster of all time, you know, played games for Liverpool. Bro, listen, I saw a clip of you, and who else was it again? It was
O'Hara.
Jermaine and Jamie O'Hara.
Yeah.
I think Darren Bent's face was like, couldn't believe you, because you were there saying that Gerard Pique is not classed as one of the best defenders of all time, or not a world-class defender.
He's not an actual, as a player, no. He couldn't get into Man United's first team.
But you got to remember,
you told me.
Jermaine, you got to remember who was ahead at that time. The partnership of Rio and Vidic was probably the best partnership the Premier League's ever seen. So, especially in my era anyway. So, because he couldn't get into that team as a player, does that mean that he's not a world-class player? It just didn't work out for him during that time.
I'm what the question was it a Hall of Famer or all-time great? So I says on credentials, on trophies, yeah, because he's won everything that can be winning. But as a player, there's so many. Puyol was better than him.
Yeah, but Puyol's also one of the greats, though.
What?
But Puyol's was
Rio's better than him.
Who? Yeah, but Rio's also one of the greats as well. So
but when we talk about the greats, you putting people on par to a certain extent. Like John Terry, Rio, there's always who's the better out of the two.
Right.
Yeah, I'll say Rio's better. But Puyol doesn't come. I mean, Pique doesn't come close. He was the worst player in the team.
How could you say he's the worst player in the team? You don't play in a Pep Guardiola team. You do not play in a Pep Guardiola team like that, yeah, for a long time, yeah, or a Luis Enrique team, by the way, where they swept everything. Yeah, Pique's probably Pique played underneath Enrique. Enrique is the most successful manager in the last decade, not including Pep. You don't play in those teams if you're no good.
I'm saying, when I say the worst player, I mean, because it's such a high, it's that worst player will probably get into most teams in the Premier League. That's why I'm not saying it's worse as in rubbish. I'm saying out of a bunch of absolute world beaters, the centre appearance was Puyol. He wasn't better than Puyol. All right? He was the worst out of the two centre.
He was a better ball player than Puyol, and that's what Pep Guardiola needed. He needed someone that could
as a defender, yeah, but as a defender, I wouldn't, like, if I'm looking at defenders all around the world, I wouldn't put him as one of the greats. He's a good player. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong, he's a very good player. But in that Barcelona team, you had Iniesta, you had Xavi, you had Neymar, they obviously carried that team.
But they're different positions, bro. You're looking at players. For example, Pique started the play. That was his job. Get the ball started. Not Puyol's job, right? And then you play it to probably the most creative players that we've seen in the last 20 years. I don't know what you want from the guy, G.
If you're a professional footballer, you should be able to play the ball out from defense.
You say that, but have you seen some of the players playing?
Yeah,
not everyone can do that, you know.
They're not nowhere near of world class. You've got to talk about
Gerard Pique is, and that's why he was able to play in those teams.
You think Gerard Pique is a world class defender?
Yes,
I think he's a great defender. But world class in my eyes is, again, Rio, Maldini, Nesta. I don't put Pique against that.
Look, even with respect to Rio here, yeah, like the fact that you've put Rio and Maldini in the same sentence for me, yeah, it shows that there's different levels of world class. Maldini, you're probably looking at the greatest.
Defender.
Rio, yeah.
As a defender.
Yeah, but there's different levels of world class. You've got your Zidanes, right, as midfielders, but then you got Paul Scholes, who isn't Zidane's level, right? But yet still, you can't argue the fact that he's world class. Yes or no?
Oh, Puyol. I mean,
Paul Scholes.
Paul Scholes.
No, Paul Scholes and Zidane.
It was a.
Do you know where I'm coming from? Like, there's different levels. Like, we can both say they're world class.
Different, yeah. Well, both world class in their own right, but different players.
But why is that not the same for Pique then?
Because he's a centre back. Zidane and Scholes didn't play in the same position. Zidane was more of an attacking midfielder behind the 10 role. Paul Scholes was that man who gets the ball from deep. And
that was later on in his career, mate. If we take it back to 98, we all know where he played. You can't twang me, bro. You're my era, bro. You're my era. I know this inside out, Jay. I was there with the 4.1 million. I know what's going on. I know what's going on.
Defending wise, I don't think Pique is one of the greats. I don't think he's one of the greats.
Jay, listen,
that's my person. I don't think he's a. There was never rumors of put in a 30 million bid for 40 million, 50 million.
But there was never a rumor for PO for that either. There weren't Busquets rumors either because they were at the best club and they were settled. I don't know what you want.
No, I'm just saying that team. If PK wasn't in that team, they wouldn't have gone on a different. They wouldn't have. Nothing would different with that.
When he came in the team, Pep said he was like the missing jigsaw. He was the missing piece. So they went out their way to bring him back because they knew they needed him. You know what I mean? Just because he didn't get into Man United's team doesn't mean. Do you know what I mean? We've seen it happen all the time. You've got players that go to one team and it doesn't work. They go. Look at Thierry Henry. Thierry went to Juve. It didn't work. He wasn't there for a long time. He went to Juve. It didn't work.
He was always playing. He was always playing, though, wasn't he? He was always,
but he weren't any good. He goes to Arsenal. You know the rest, my friend.
They never struggled to get in. They never struggled to get in the team.
He was never. And did PK struggle to get in the Barca team?
I tell you what, you can be any defender.
Nah, Jay, I'm sorry.
You've got all that in front of you. When you've got all that in front of you.
Jay.
If we're going on medals, then you can't argue. You can't argue that fact. You can't. You got to put him up there with successful defenders. But as a world-class all-time great, you know, you put one-on-one with anyone with a bit of pace, he gets burned. He's not the best defender. You can't say just because he's won everything with Barcelona, he can pass.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not. Otherwise, we start putting other players.
This team, this defenders who haven't won half as much as he won, but at lesser teams, and he's a lot better than PK.
Name him. Besides the Rios and the stuff that you've been naming, name him.
Vincent Kompany is better than PK.
He's a good centre back, but
he don't get that status of a world-class defender.
I wouldn't be mad if I got PK over Kompany, though. I really wouldn't. Different types of centre backs, but I wouldn't be mad. I know what you like. You like the Bosch, get out there, punch and tackle. All right.
I like a Van Dijk who can tackle and also play the ball.
I think Van Dijk's one of the greatest to ever play the game.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that. Not a Liverpool fan, but I agree. But I don't. PK and Van Dijk are worlds apart. There's a big gap. That's me as my personal preference.
Yeah, if someone said no chance, I wouldn't be mad at them. Yeah. I really wouldn't. Who else? So you said Kompany, Van Dijk.
I said Thiago Silva's better, and they played in the same. They're about the same age. Even Marquinhos.
Oh, not even that one. Nah, not that one. Yeah, nah. But then again, you see what I'm saying? There's still space for you to say that. Look, he's still above and he's better than a lot of these players. Jay, I don't think we're gonna agree on this one, man. I think I think honestly, I'm actually sad. This is how we first got to meet. If I'm honest with you,
he's playing your song.
It's a shame if I'm really thinking about it, guys. I want you massive shout out to Jermaine Pennant because he didn't shy away.
I would say Portuguese Pepe is better than him.
What?
PK. Pepe was a
he is. Pepe's good, but bro, let's just leave it as that, man.
I think it's all about opinions.
Jermaine, thank you very much for joining us. I think we're gonna have to start getting you on more regularly, bro, because you're definitely entertaining. That's for sure, brother.
Listen, it's all about opinions, you know.
Yeah, but we gotta make the opinions make sense. You know what I'm saying? You can't just.
Yeah, what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not good.
I'm
saying he's very good, great by that means. But I'm not saying world class.
Let us know what you think in the comments, people. Do you agree with Jermaine Pennant? Yes or no?
All right, quickly one for you. If he didn't have won what he won at Barcelona, was it Africa Madrid?
Yeah, his
name probably wouldn't get mentioned.
Yeah, maybe not, but that's the same with a lot of defenders. You know what I mean? The only exceptions to things like that are like Steven Gerrard, because he didn't win the Premier League, but we all know he's still bad. Do you know what I mean? But if you're looking at other players, if you don't win, you struggle to get into those conversations. A lot of it is about winning as well. It is.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the truth.
To a certain degree.
Oh, you name me. You can't. It's hard right now, obviously, but you can't name me loads of players that haven't won stuff in the last 15, 20 years. And you go, oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, they were still, definitely world class. It happens, but I'm not saying it's not everyone. A lot of the players you're going to name have got some sort of trophies.
I'll tell you,
titles.
before Salah won the Premier League and the Champions League and all that,
He weren't that guy. He wasn't that guy.
he's been that guy since he came to Liverpool.
He wasn't. No, there's a difference though, because
And he
now
went
when we
to
talk about
Fiorentina
Salah, when we talk about
and ripped him
Salah,
up.
now we talk about a great, innit? Like we talk about one of the greats. He weren't being spoken about like that when he was in flipping Roma, or do you know what I mean? Like, come on.
He was doing bits though. He was doing bits,
but
he was doing
so
mad
what?
bits.
So
And
what?
yeah, but no, he was consistently doing.
But that's a different conversation, Jay, and you know it. Right now, we're talking about one of the best in the Prem. Yeah, we weren't talking about him like that before.
So you think Pique is one of the best in the world?
I do. Yeah. I do. I think, mate, some of these guys here, you can't deny their football. You can't deny what they've done. And some of those players, they make it look easy. You see players like PK and Rio, you never really see them eating the grass too much because they're standing in the right positions beforehand. They're in the right place. Michael Carrick's another one. Yeah. You ain't going to see them sweating, doing too much, but you know they're doing their job.
As an attacker, I would think that a lot of strikers would be going up against PK thinking, I'm quite happy about this.
And how many were successful? Don't forget he played against Real Madrid in a very successful Real Madrid period, by the way. Right? Mm-hmm. And he weren't a mug.
No, so I am not saying he's a mug. I'm saying he's a great player. I'm just saying world class. I wouldn't put him in my top 11 teams of you know what I mean. He won't get in my.
Well, maybe not, but I wouldn't be mad if someone did. That's how good he was.
Okay, all right.
You know what I mean?